Covid-19 World in Review. All 214 countries reviewed. After the introduction, this is a sit back and watch. Countries reviewed alphabetically, so you can skip to the countries you want. Note to censors, we use only government data. If you have a problem with the results, speak to the government. We'll be releasing a standard chart update shortly, within the next day, but this is a wider scope, non-narrated review after we've gone through the introduction, this time at least. Here's what you'll be seeing. There's a lot of info on one slide, and per request we'll break it down so you can understand what you're getting. The main frame has cases and deaths for a normalized 100 million population, with totals solid blue and red, and daily dotted blue and red. Hubei is included for reference. It's our standard measure, better than Hubei good, worse than Hubei disappointing. We also have a standard mortality, 9 deaths per thousand or 2464 deaths per day, so you can see how close you came to that in any particular country. At the bottom are 4 meters showing a couple of things each. At left, the daily cases on a linear scale, so you can see the extent to which it reflects a classic humped curve. Also critical is the pale blue indicator, which shows the extent to which the growth rate of the virus was declining. Normal logistic distributions decline from day 1. Centre left, the same for deaths. Centre right, the day's deaths as a percentage of standard mortality, 2464 deaths per day. Notice how some countries managed extremely low figures and some are extremely high. The orange dashed line is the overall percentage of normal mortality represented by Covid-19. The right-hand meter shows the 2 cases and deaths daily charts, and what we're looking for is separation. You're not supposed to die the day you go into hospital, but it's surprising how many countries have just that. On the right are a bunch of stats. We'll do them in 2 lots, upper first. Country, population in millions, cases, deaths, and normalized cases and deaths, which is the value times 100 over the population. Death rate, and then how many times worse than Hubei those figures are. If the number is less than 1, it's better. NP death days is how many days normal mortality the Covid-19 deaths represent. It is loosely speaking how many days of deaths you've had to tolerate, and the question becomes, was it worth it to give up your democracy for that? State is the progress through the climbing peak, post-peak and done stages. Case death lag is an indicator of how normal the figures are. 14 days seems to be appropriate. A short interval is a warning flag to look for death stuffing. Death rates lag 3, 6, 9 and 12 days. Since you're not supposed to die the day you go into hospital, your death is supposed to arise from an earlier case. Countries tempted to stuff deaths seem to forget that, and so the death rates rise. The UK touches 100% at 12 days. No death stuffing there then. And it should be 14, but we took pity on them. Still, look at Italy, 90% death rate when lagged 3 days. Sorry, that's 12 days. Strictly it's precessed, but who uses that word? And the existing 3-day lag actually softens the blow. Constrained is for me if I want to go back to see what Ferguson or Johnson could see as of the 15th March, say. That should read 24th May, so glad I wrote this. Would have been embarrassing if not spotted. GZ death and gaze points are for early period analysis when we want to know if a country had enough points yet to take it seriously. Higher rank, more serious. Profile is for detailed analysis. A 1.2 is over post, which means the chart has an outbreak which completes and then a further outbreak which is now post-peak, hence the profile caption, over post. Daily mortality max is how bad the worst day's deaths have been as a percentage of normal mortality. Overall mortality is how bad the entire scenario has been compared to daily mortality. Again, that's what you gave up democracy for. The count starts from the first Covid-19 death. Each day from then on, the alt deaths or normal mortality rack up at 2464 per day. This is a sit back and watch presentation. No way I'm cutting and pasting 214 slides and adding commentary. In theory, I'll continue my standard chart updates, which also tend to include comments on matters arising, but this will at least be a supplement. It's also probably the only realistic way to see the whole world's COVID-19 experience in a whirlwind tour. I'll do 5 seconds per country, enough for you to recognize it and pause it if you're interested in that country. Countries are listed alphabetically, so in theory you can skip ahead to countries of interest. Let us know if it's useful, and I may order them by regions or some such next time. I'm still Andrew Mather, 6-year-old Brit, mathematician, financier, technologist, husband, biker, pilot, healer, whatever. Feel free to get in touch, andrew@peerlessreads.com or andrew@amather.com. Either should get to me.